This stuff works like magic. You can flip it around in a full plate, no trick. He just started it out, and he's already producing all the time. He came out completely clean, and he's still going to go inside too. So if you've been struggling with tough kitchen habits, this is the time for you. Tap in for more.
Eating too much salt doesn't help your sensor, right? Nope. What about too much bacon and red meat? Nope. It's actually
Son of a fucking bitch, dude. This guy just fucking blew me the fuck away, bro.
Their calcified arteries fast.
Can you shut the fuck up? Nobody cares, dude. But nobody really cares.
The result of a political system that is so difficult to overcome that, they can't do it in a matter of 5 years. No, they're not even trying. It is actually for a lack of trying that it is this way. They're not trying. It's a joke. 15 million is a joke. Now is a joke. It's a joke. People are lucky on their black. It's a complete disaster. And the reason it's happening is because of our patriots. Trump got in office to stay out of jail, to cut deals to get money, and now that he's in, he had to reward the donors by allowing them to pick the cabinet members, and more than one party with his face in his post, and that was good with that. So this is an utter and complete catastrophe. There's no justification for what the H1B attack. We're in a war with Iran. We're going to go back very soon. Let's just try to get this happening. Here's the thing. It is in this context where Trump posts something like this. Poll numbers down, favorability down to the government stuff, all these years to break it down all over again. Everybody's deeply unhappy. What do we do? Let it rip. With the racism, let it rip. With the retard, let it rip. With neighbors, everyone get those stupid idiots back on the side. They're going to do it right now. I'm going to go on Twitter and see socials. I'm going to let it rip. And I'm going to be obnoxious and belligerent and politically incorrect and brash and controversial. And I'm going to say something so shocking, so edgy, so ridiculous that everyone is going to be talking about this and not that. Everyone's going to be talking about how I called Tim Walz a retard. Everyone's going to be talking about how I said this about Ilhan Omar. I'm going to pack 15 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag of controversy and rage bait and clip farming so that nobody's going to pay attention to the fact that we didn't even release the October jobs report because it was so bad. No one's paying attention to a war in Venezuela that nobody wants. No one's paying attention to Black Friday consumer trends being a disaster, the job market failing. No one paid any attention to the complete and utter disaster. Republicans might lose their majority in the House before the midterms because so many people are jumping ship.
Yeah, I agree with Nick here. I think a lot of people are highly upset with this administration. I think people in this cabinet are very questionable. When it comes to Cash Patel, everybody just doesn't trust him. He said he was going to be very transparent with the FBI, and he said he was going to be fully transparent with the Epstein files. And I think we just lost all faith in the integrity of the FBI. We think they're just covering a lot of things, and they're not being open with their investigation as well. I know it's an investigation, stuff like that, but if the public is in the dark with a lot of things, we believe we deserve to know some information here and there, just not swept under the rug information. But Nick is right. The fact that Trump still talks spicy and does stuff like call him like a retard, that is kind of funny. That kind of makes a lot of people see tiny glimpse of humor that like some, all the stuff that we do like Trump for, these little glimpses that we do see here and there. And I don't know, I know for me, I love this country. I want to see this country win, and there is parts of me.
The MAGA and modern conservative movement has had a pretty rough year in 2025. While you would think with Trump taking office, the MAGA movement would be doing better than ever, but between the assassination of conservative figurehead Charlie Kirk and the infighting afterwards leading to what some are calling a right-wing civil war, I think it's safe to say they've had a rough year. I personally have noticed a trend over the last few days that adds another layer of that just as we round out 2025. to do the things they are promising, like holding people accountable, that we will simply stop voting. Displayed here in a tweet from Breitbart saying vibe shift. Top Twitch streamer Asmund Gould says he's not interested in voting unless politicians commit to denaturalizing and deporting the entire families of Somali fraudsters.
You have to make the punishment infinitely worse than the crime. And I'm talking about deporting the entire family, denaturalizing the entire family, sending the entire group of them back to Somalia. That's what needs to happen. And anybody complicit and anybody involved in this scam. And until we have a candidate and a person that's willing to do that, then I'm not really interested in voting, if you want me to be honest. I'm really not interested in voting. Because why is it that I'm going to vote for a slow rot of my country whenever the solution is so obvious? You can't flip the switch? Yeah, you can. You can easily flip the switch. You just do it. That's how it happens. That's never happening. Nothing ever happens as I person tweets. I know that. We're not jail forever. I don't want to pay for them. I don't. Like, I know you can say, like, oh, yeah, put them in jail and make them, like, put them in work camps forever. I don't even want to deal with that. I just want to send them back and not have to deal with them. That's honestly the way I feel about it. Just send them the fuck back.
We'll touch more on Asmund Gould here in a minute because he actually put out a full video saying Republicans should be scared right now, echoing this same sentiment. It's not just Asmund Gould saying this, though. Probably one of the most divisive and popular voices in the young conservative movement is this man here, Nick Fuentes. On his live stream just a few days ago, he said this.
So my message is this. There is a loaded gun pointed at the GOP. Fix it now. Fix the country or get blown away in 28. That's it. No negotiations. No one's holding their nose one more time. No one's going to be a good sport. We're not going to hold the line. We're not going to vote for the lesser of two evil. There is a loaded gun pointed at the GOP, figuratively, not literally. Figuratively, it's a very toxic climate right now, violent climate.
What a peeper.
But figuratively, there's a loaded gun pointed at the GOP. You better fix this country. J.D. Vance, you better march down to the Oval Office and get this guy awake from his nap and fix the country, or none of us are turning out in 28. That's an ultimatum. Don't say we wanted to burn it to the ground. We wanted to succeed. You have left us no choice. And then we'll have a new generation in 2032. You don't want to see what that looks like. You think this is bad? You don't want to see what comes next if Trump fails. So don't give me this, well, they only want to destroy and we want to build. You want to build? Well, then get started. Get started on the mass deportations. Don't tell me about 600,000 Chinese students and you're going to fill the H-1B visa cap every year. And we need the students for the universities, and we need the talent, and we need the labor, and all that nonsense. You keep talking like that, you can blow it out your ass in 28. I'm sick of it. And that's where all this is headed.
That sentiment is being echoed all around the internet, especially on the more youthful, conservative podcasts and social media influencers. If Trump doesn't step up and actually do something, we've seen the Somali fraud. We've seen all the issues with immigration. We've seen all the corrupt judges. Now all the evidence is coming out about the stolen vote in 2020. We're sick of hearing about the headlines, and we want to see action. Trump and MAGA need to take this threat seriously, because with how popular the sentiment is getting, I believe we might see a mass exodus of young men from the vote in 2028. And I can't stand another 4 years of a candidate like Biden or worse. Here's Anthony Frisella, another conservative influencer.
We are being lied to. And not only are we being lied to, we're being exploited at the highest degree. And then on top of it, we're being replaced with the dollars that we work our fucking asses off to produce for our families. They are taking those dollars, they are bringing in people that fucking hate us, and then they are paying them to be here. And if that doesn't piss you the fuck off, dude, I don't know what will. Because I'm gonna tell you this, dude, I worked my fucking ass off for damn near 30 motherfucking years trying to create jobs and careers and build income and wealth and done all this shit. And these motherfuckers are opening up a daycare and getting $10 million fucking dollars? This is fucking insane, dude. And if
with no
this,
kids.
if this isn't the breaking point for everybody to stand the fuck up and say enough, then our country is fucking doomed. Period. 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 Okay? Donald Trump needs to feel all the fucking smoke over this. All of it. Okay? He needs to feel all of it over Israel. He needs to understand that he is violating the promises that he has made to the American people. Okay? I've always been a guy that has given that man tons and tons and tons of benefit of the doubt. But at this point in time, that shit is fucking over. And every single motherfucker that ever voted for him or stood with him needs to let him fucking know. He needs to let him hear it. Because, dude, I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't do something about this, and he doesn't start arresting motherfuckers, and he doesn't hold people accountable for the Epstein shit, and for this shit, and for all the fraud, and all the raping that's been going on in the American taxpayer for fucking decades, he will go down, and not as the best president, he will go down literally as the man who had the opportunity to save this country and chose not to.
Pretty powerful. Pretty powerful.
How's it going, everybody? Yo, like the stream, guys.
Feeling that right now. When we're talking about the youth and the next generation, this is a man named Clavicular, a very popular streamer and influencer with Gen Z, more focused around the dating and what they call looks maxing scene. He recently sat down with Michael Knowles and was discussing his bizarre takes on improving his appearance, but they got a little bit political, and let's see if we're following the same thing.
JD Vance, would he be a better candidate and probably closer to me in terms of policy than Gavin Newsom? Yes, but he's just not going to be good enough to be deserving. I think the right has kind of let down the voters for the longest time, so I think I don't really think the right wingers should just give support to these jesters who continue to under-deliver on their promises. Just let the Democrats win. That's kind of what I'm talking about in terms of just like why I don't support Vance as a voter. But
So you're saying no, they shouldn't vote for any Republican? The right wingers should not vote for the Republican?
not until the right actually wants to do the things that they are promising.
So is there a candidate you would prefer? I assume you don't actually want to vote for Newsom. Maybe you do. Maybe
No.
for a Democrat. No, okay, so then who's the right winger you want to vote for? Or maybe there isn't.
Yeah, there really isn't a.
It's kind of a doomer, isn't it? So now you're saying if you're a real hardcore Giga Chad right winger, you should let the Democrats rape the country.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to. Like, that's the right mentality. Because, like, look, what is the right going to do other than just, like, a small win here and, like, maybe overturn Roe v. Wade on, like, a federal level, but abortion is still allowed, like, state to state, so it's like it really doesn't do anything. It's like, if these people are just going to, like, continue...
Maybe you deport 2 million people, maybe...
Okay, but there's still 28 million more, right? So until these people, like, actually want to make changes that matter, right?
I think 2 million people matters. I think
Does it in a country of how many people? Like, what are we?
330 million or so.
Exactly. So it's like we're not really making any progress here. So for the RNC to just demand voters to continue to show up, for what? Really? It's just that's the hope, right? That's what I'm simply advocating for. Until like the policies change and like the rhetoric is a little better.
How would the policies change? I guess this is what I'm confused about is had a Democrat, and just use this past year, had a Democrat won, we would get, just judging by Biden's policies, as Biden's vice president was running, you would add 3 million illegal aliens to the country.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trump won, not only do you not add 3 million, you lose 2 million. So now you have a net change of 5 million potential foreigners who would be in the United States over the course of 1 year. And you're saying, yeah, it's not good enough. Sorry,
It's
bro.
not. It really is not good enough.
So what are you doing?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm realizing that society is going one direction, and I'm trying to improve myself as much as possible so that I can succeed financially, so that I can improve my status and improve my quality of life.
But what's very interesting about it is by saying, look, not only am I apathetic, I want the Democrats to win. Because they're going to be bad.
Yes.
Because they're going to screw up the country,
Yes.
and then we'll have a revolution, it'll be good again.
Right.
What's interesting about that to me is it reflects something quite real and I think quite understandable, which is the alienations that at very high levels in popular media and government has told that group of people that they suck for like 30 years. That I totally resonate with. So how widespread do you think that alienation is?
I would say that the reason that I have the success I do is because it's almost in every kid my age who in the same demographic. Is people are tired of being banned on social media. People are tired of
Ecotoxic.
right. The government not advocating for them whatsoever. So I would say that it's probably more common than not.
So Clavicular there is making a lot of really good points, to be honest. And as I think I've shown up until this point in the video, those same feelings seem to be echoed. Young men, especially conservative young men, turned out strong for the MAGA movement and for Trump, delivered him the presidency, delivered him majorities in both the House and the Senate, and the promises aren't being kept. So the only thing left to do is to let the Democrats finish the job destroying the country. I think the administration needs to take this point very, very seriously. This is an ideology that is spreading like wildfire. I personally don't agree with it because I don't want to see things burn. Being a little bit older and having a family, I don't want to see civil war. I don't want to see revolution. But Trump is literally pushing people to that point. Not by what he's doing, but by the lack of what he's doing. He needs to be more extreme, and he needs to hold people accountable. So Asmongold put out a whole video reacting to this called Republicans Should Be Scared Right Now.
A better candidate and probably closer to me in terms of policy than Gavin Newsom. Yes, but he's just not going to be good enough to be deserving. I think the right has kind of let down the voters for the longest time. So I think I don't really think that right wingers should just give support to these jesters who can
absolutely
continue to underdeliver on their promises.
And remember now, Asmongold is not only a very large YouTuber with this video itself getting